Today we're going to talk about top 3 best paid, not Froob this time, we're doing paid, at the request of our buddy Redneck Repairs. Thank you for the request, and thank you for watching for so long. You've always been around and always been so kind and cordial and always just been such a nice dude, so I thank you so much for that. We're going to do top 3 paid solo leveling tunes in Anarchy Online. Let's start at number 3. It was kind of hard to get an exact list down and kind of hard to narrow down because I really so desperately wanted to put Adventurer on this list, and it very well could be. It could be number 3 as well as the actual number 3 I picked, which was Martial Artist. Now the only reason I picked Martial Artist over Adventurer is because the endgame potential. You're gonna have way more potential with a Martial Artist at endgame. That's just the unfortunate truth. Yeah, I agree with you when I know you're gonna say, but what about Cocoon and Heels and Acrobat, and I could be a fucking tree. And it's like, yeah, you can be a fucking tree, and I hope you enjoy that. Like, I want to be a tree. You know what, I'm logging this tune off. Let's go Martial Artist, and let's go Adventure. No, we'll keep the Martial Artist. I already started recording, we can't go back now. The reason I like Martial Artist better, again, the damage. You're going to have consistent heals even at low levels, because Martial Artists get a whole plethora of freaking heals, starting with the smallest heal you could possibly get, moving up to just oh wait, this guy's only level 100, right? Bigger heals, we'll say. And because you have a lot of really useful OFAB, which is, you could buy the OFAB packs or just buy OFAB off GMI for relatively cheap, the tune won't be overly expensive to level. You also have the more expensive options, like you have the Slippers of Screaming and Short Shot Glasses if you really want to go in that defensive mode while you're leveling so you don't die. And I think that's where a martial artist can really thrive, because you can stay very defensive and still have crazy damage because of buffs like Fist of the Polar Star. Yes, there is a higher level one. We know. This is a level 100 martial artist. It's okay. And then it's Stellar Harmony, by the way, is the higher level one for fire. And you get, obviously we know you get crit damages. Crit damages? Yeah, you do crit damage, but you also get crit buffs. So when you're in that defensive setup, those crits can start popping. You have research that's catered towards increasing your crit damage as well. And your perk support's kind of nice too. Especially right away, you get this Red Dawn perk right out of your Zuyun? I don't know what this word is. Perk line, and that scales with you based on your martial arts. So the higher martial arts you have, the higher heal it's going to do, which is really cool. You get awesome attacks. We know the martial artist. You guys have seen him in and out. You guys have seen me make so many martial artists. Oh, holy crap. Why are these videos so coincidental lately? There is someone actually selling on Darknet Fist of Stellar Harmony. That is crazy, man. Martial Artist, I would pick over the Adventurer because of the reasons I just listed. You still get the evades, you get Evasive Stance too. The perks are nice. Or Careful in Battle, I guess is the name of the perk line. And you could solo some of the... what's the one that you need Unstunnable for? Moxie? Is Moxie the one you need Unstunnable for? Somebody can correct me on there. We could solo some of the Dreads. I wouldn't be surprised if you could take a Martial Artist and solo Mytar, to be honest. But yeah, I think after talking it out, we could solidify the number 3 as the Martial Artist. At number 2, I think you'll find it is no surprise that we have the Keeper. One of the biggest reasons is as soon as you make the tune, you get your first aura, and you're not gonna die. Like, Adaptive Ambient Restoration, as soon as you get it, you're gonna be chilling in the backyard. Nothing's gonna kill you. And this scales with you, which is why I didn't get the new one until, I mean, I freaking power leveled this tune, but I didn't get the new one until the end game, because I didn't really need it. But this will scale with you based on your biomet skill, which is really, really cool. Because it used to not do that. You used to have to buy different nanos, and it became a whole bunch of a headache. Especially getting nanos nowadays, which is a nightmare, always, all the time. Because blitzers want to sell stuff for too much money. Listen, we're getting sidetracked. The other reason why, I'll give you 2 more great reasons why the Keeper is such a solid number 2. Not watery in any way. Because you also get Aura of Revival. Again, you perk this at 10, you now have 2 heal auras going at the same time. You're never going to use the nano aura, so don't bother. But you'll get 2 heal auras going at the same time. And Aura of Revival scales really well. It scales to the point where at endgame, you can actually solo. I mean, if you've seen David Galehouse's videos, he's soloing Redeemed Lord Galahad with the Keeper. Melee Energy Keeper. A little more damage, a little more defense, but Melee Energy Keeper. Now, say you're really broke, but you want to take a tune to 220. You don't have many credits. What are you going to do? You're going to make this Keeper, go straight to Shadowlands, farm pearls and farm pattern pieces, and you could get weapons you need from 2 places. One, obviously, Temple 3 wins, and then later after that, Inner Sanctum. Maybe if you got to pay a mil to some noob to get you a Frost Scythe, or your Frostbound Reaper, or even better yet, Permafrost. You just ask around nicely. And you can see that that effect of that red is actually the heal auras going off. Or the single heal aura I have right now. Or you buy your weapons from the garden vendors in the Shadowlands. Guard of the Gentleman, Sword of Sir Tristram, Job the Fenter Naginata. Obviously, if you have credits, you can go get your Sword of the Illuminated, a copy of the Excalibur. That'll subsist you to 220. You don't even have to worry about it. But if you're broke, you go and buy those weapons, and the damage is going to be just fine, and they're so affordable. Or you go farm them from Temple of 3 Winds. You have options there. If you want to go melee energy, you go get the Argument, and you get it on. If you want to be a bad boy, you get it on 76. If you want to be a medium boy, 100, and then, little weak boy is after 100. I'm sorry. Now you have the options, and the good thing about Keepers, you get the heals, and you get perks that are going to heal you too. Blessing. Or is it Curing Touch? Curing Lay on Hands, something. Curing Touch. Is Lay on Hands the first one? Yeah. So Curing Touch is just a massive heal, and it'll remove blind. Really awesome. The Holy Mark line of perks gives you a whole bunch of evades too, because if you did not know, Keepers also get auras. We've gone over this so many times now. But they also get auras that are going to add to your add-all def. So a Keeper can build a whole bunch of evade and a whole bunch of add-all def to a point where you probably, even solo, are not going to die in a playthrough from 1 to 220. You get the heals, you get decent damage, not great. You do have your damage auras, you have weapons that are very affordable. And now you also have all this evade and defense. Should be a great option. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do we know to be the best PvM profession in the game? Was your answer Shade? Because you are correct. Shade's going to be our number 1 by a landslide. Yes, Keeper's awesome, so much fun. Yes, the MA is going to do that big boy stuff. But Shade's going to do what they do better. May not have the support and utility that you'd find out of a Keeper, but it doesn't matter because we're doing this solo anyway, so who cares? What you're going to find is the Shade's just never going to freaking die. The first few levels, maybe even up to level 20, could be a little rocky. And I would suggest, most people go Piercing Mastery first because they see, oh, I get more piercing, that's great. Nah, man. I would highly suggest you go Totemic Rites as your first perk. Because Ritual of Devotion is going to give you a great damage buff. A short-term damage buff, but you're going to get a damage buff from using it. So your weapons won't matter so much. And just like the Keeper, you can go buy Siges, or, you can buy Bronto Vet Lancet, or all these other lesser good weapons. If you can't afford a Nippy, you just buy those weapons from the garden vendor. Not bad. They're not great either, but they're not bad. And now you have weapons like the updated Subway weapons, and you have the Fear Forged Blades. From there, even the Turn Spirit weapons are really great for Shades. You have options. The weapon doesn't really matter so much because it's going to be your perks that do most of the damage. Now, the other good thing about Totemic Rites is that at level 40, now you're getting a life tap. It's going to do damage, and it's going to heal you. We know Shades have a ton of evade. We don't have to talk about that. We know Shades have a ton of damage. We don't have to talk about that either. Not getting hit is awesome, but being able to recover HP is amazing. On top of Sneaking Health Drain, which is the end game heal, you now also have Dissolve Vitality, which is, again, like another kind of life tap thing. You're draining health from your opponent, coming back to you, so you're able to heal. And every time you cast it, like if you needed an emergency heal, you could cast that as well. What do we know about Shade's Caress? What do we know about Shade's Caress? You put a defensive proc on the target, so every time you hit them, you're healing yourself. And the heals, if you see here, they're monstrous. Just really, really good heals. The good thing about the Shade is when you factor in all these things, the crazy evades, the absolutely insane damage, the survivability with the heals, the add-all defense, all that kind of stuff. You have stun procs. You could go... It depends, because when I'm soloing, sometimes generally I'm going to use the initiative debuff, because if I'm soloing like Lord of the Void or something, you're not going to be able to stun him, so you're going to want the initiatives to be taken off of him. And here's the high level one. You're taking 1100 initiative, so you getting hit less is really awesome. Then we also have the nanite deprivation proc. You're taking evades away from the target, so it doesn't matter if you don't even have piercing mastery perked at 220, you're still going to be hitting. And then you have your stun proc here. Just awesome, awesome stun proc. That I'd use for bosses that can actually be stunned, or in PvP when you're trying to just gank a dock. But we're talking about solo leveling. And something like that may come in handy. A couple stuns a fight might be what keeps you alive. Might be what keeps you in the capped XP. And again, the lower levels might be a little rough, but once you start getting enough perks to do damage and subsist, focus on your survivability at first, and then start working your way into piercing mastery, and even if you want, like, phylactery is not a bad perk line either. Sublime rapports, okay, that's not one I normally hit up. But phylactery, also not bad, because then in there you have at AAO and AAD debuff. So you're debuffing the target's AAD, and guess what? That's coming right back to you. That's the cool thing about Shades. Almost anything you're doing to the enemy is being siphoned from them and brought back to you, whether it's HP, or in this case, you have your add-all off and add-all death. So that's why you see things, and also you get to look like this. And who wouldn't want that? And you get Mr. Spooky on your left freaking shoulder. That's what's going to also help you stay alive. You get incredible attack rating, you get incredible add-all death. And that's why I think the Shade is going to be the most practical, and it's also going to be the most fun. It may get a little expensive if you decide to go the nippy route, unless you go visit an egg-shaped friend and you get them for like $1 or $2. I don't know what they cost. Or you can get a piercing evil. Yeah, you got your options there. But Shade's going to be the most fun too, because you're going to be dancing on the keyboard, you'll be sneaking, backstabbing MFs if you're in a team, but you're not because it's a solo challenge. We said that 16 times already. Yeah, I think that's it. Other professions to consider that were kept off this list just for minuscule reasons. Doctor, it's so freaking annoying. It takes so long to kill anything. You can kill a lot of things. It's just, at this stage of the game, it's kind of impractical. Metaphysicist, I really wanted to include, and that would probably be number 5. Your pets do good enough damage. You can be really squishy at low levels, but if you just send your pet into attack and sit there and do nothing, it'd probably be fine. You can get enough outside buffs, but if you're doing it self-buffed, you should still be fine. Engineer's not on there. Not really one I would consider. Soldier's going to be very difficult. And Trader was the other one I had considered putting on this list somewhere, but the issue is you don't have too many weapon options. You can get obviously very high quality level shotguns on, but the damage isn't going to be great, and you're always going to be a little on the squishy side. So it's going to be more challenging. Is it possible? Entirely, yeah, 100%. And I think you'd have fun with a Trader as well, but a little more challenging and a little more work. But I think Shade has the highest ceiling endgame, because you could solo Zodiacs, you could solo TNH, easy. You could solo Lord of the Void, easy. Mytar, easy. Everything, easy. And boy, Yo Mama, easy.